Paul took some of my words, took some of my stories. What we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes part of us. A quote by Helen Keller. It is with tears in my eyes, a lump in my throat, and a huge hole in my heart that I speak to you today. You have lost a friend or a colleague, and I have lost the love of my life. Since the diagnosis 2 years ago of idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, we have had our ups and our downs with faith and hope, but we never lost the love. Little did I know that in 1966, the guy Donna met at the Youngstown YMCA Camp Fitch would be the one. We met on a cold, rainy day when he was subbing as the camp's kitchen steward. Dennis brought me a cup of hot tea because I was very wet and very cold. I had been on an overnight in the rain with 24 13-year-olds. Later that month, we went out on our first date. He was a big spender, a 10-cent Dairy Queen cone. The next summer, I returned to Camp Fitch, and Dennis began his career as assistant youth director at the Youngstown Y. I remember being at camp, and I called Dennis crying and said, "I don't want to be here. I'm really homesick." I wasn't homesick. I missed Dennis. And of course, he reminded me that I had signed a YMCA contract that I had to stay. His drive, his confidence, his knowing what he wanted in life attracted me to him. I just brought out the Palacas donuts and hooked him. While going to Youngstown State, I worked part-time in the craft shop at the Youngstown Y before we were married. I began to understand the importance of the YMCA mission. We were married in 1969. I was an art student, and Dennis worked as youth director. Dennis had been a Y professional for about 7 years when the late Gene Cornwell of the YUSA came to Dennis and suggested that he interview in Lima, Ohio. It was 1973. I had just done my student teaching. I graduated from Youngstown State, and I was about to give birth to Daniel. Why? Why would we want to move? We were content to be in our hometown and have our family support system close by. But as we talked, we looked toward the future. Dennis at that time was assistant physical director, and if we moved to Lima, he would advance his Y career and be senior physical director. He would be in charge. Lima was good to us. I have fond memories of that experience there. We had to learn to live on our own, no family around. We made great friends, who are still our friends today, even though they're all over the country. Being part of the YMCA opened many, many doors to that young Ruble family. I helped out at the Y however I could. Signs that needed to be made, switchboards that needed attended to, young single Y guys who needed a home-cooked meal. The YMCA was our family. In 1980, Gene Cornwell came knocking at our door again. The executive position in Sydney, Ohio was open. He wanted Dennis to apply. We never heard of Sydney, Ohio, and we were only 45 minutes north. Do we or don't we apply? Should we or shouldn't we look at this place? After the interview and the offer was made, we still didn't know. Should we take it or not? We were very happy in Lima. It came down to Daniel and Dana. They said, Dad, McDonald's has a playground. It's okay if we move there. One day, that first week as a new executive of the City Shelby County YMCA, Dennis came home with tears in his eyes and said, "Don, I can't do it." I opened the bottom drawer of my desk and it was overflowing with bills. Bills that need to be paid, and many are past due. Where am I going to get that money? But he stuck it out, and the rest is history. Thank you to the board presidents and the boards who believed in him. I could not have asked for a better man to be by my side for 48 years. He was thoughtful, unselfish, kind, funny, a loving husband, and a great dad. While I was teaching at Central Elementary, the year that I adopted Teresa Sigaletti's third grade class, the program was called My Partners in Care. One of the third grade girls said to me, "Mrs. Ruble, why did you marry Mr. Ruble?" And I thought to myself, okay, what do you tell a 9-year-old? I said, "He is caring, he is respectful, he is honest, and he is responsible." She looked at me, and she thought for a moment, and she smacked the side of her head, and she said, "Oh, no wonder they hired him at the YMCA." Yes, Dennis embodied the YMCA character development traits. The YMCA was his life, from that sponsored kid to the executive he was. The YMCA was our life. I treasure those years. We certainly were different in so many ways. Dennis being very organized and me very chaotic. Dennis was left-brained and I was right-brained. But we learned so many things from each other. He began to like art, and I began to understand sports. We had a wonderful life that blessed us with 2 great kids. Dan is like me, and Dana likes to be in charge, like her dad. We had 2 successful careers that provided an income to send the kids to college, buy a house, cars, and we were able to travel far and wide. I want to wipe out of my mind the last few months when the disease was controlling him. He was not happy because of his limitations, but mostly because he could not golf. I could handle the oxygen tanks, the medicines, the doctor visits, pushing him in the transport chair. But the hardest thing for me was the sadness that overcame him because he could not do what he wanted to do, and that was to be on the golf course. I will miss him dearly. However, I have wonderful memories to keep his spirit and love in my heart forever. He is no longer suffering, and I visualize him on the golf course right now with Arnold Palmer. I want to thank each and every one of you for your wonderful words, your caring thoughts, your cards, your flowers, and above all, your prayers. The Rubles have been blessed by this community of Sydney, Ohio. Thomas Campbell, a Scottish poet, wrote, "To live in hearts we leave behind is not to die. I truly believe that my dear husband, Dennis Ruble, will live in each and every one of us. May God bless each of you, and please remember to celebrate every single day, good or bad."